Trump ranting about grass at DC parks. Interesting. Honestly, okay. I more so want to talk about how, just how much more often, seemingly, this man's brain is fucking leaking out of his ears, right? He's been having a lot of, like, very fucking, strange rantings and ravings and musings, like, more often than fucking usual, right? Like, he just like loves to rant and rave, like old man yelling at clouds kind of a deal. Because I mean, he is almost 80 years old. His brain is starting to leak out of his ears. He has a lot of fucking stressful shit that he has probably had to deal with. He was already president once, right? Stressful fucking job. A lot of work you have to do, a lot of travel and stuff like that. Then he had to deal with all those legal fights consistently. And now also with the attempted assassination attempt that he fucking had, and also seemingly the fact that a lot of people are talking more and more about how much they fucking hate him. It's probably getting to his head a little bit, so he seemingly goes on with more and more rantings and ravings. But what he's doing this in meeting with DC law enforcement. By the way, yeah, the occupation of DC, yeah, that thing is still going on. That fucking nonsense.
In D.C., one of the things we're going to be redoing is your parks. I'm very good at grass because I have a lot of golf courses all over the place. I know more about grass than any human being, I think, anywhere in the world.
Isn't a lot of the fucking, like, grass just, like, complete, like, genetically modified bullshit for fucking golf courses? Because it kind of has to be. Because of the dynamics of golf. You have to be very meticulous and careful with the kind of grass. Like, it's just how it works. It's really stupid. Golf courses are pesticide central. Yeah, I would think so.
And we're going to be regrassing all of your parks, all brand new sprinkler systems, the best.
We're going to grass them.
Just like Augusta. No, it'll look like Augusta. It'll look like, more importantly, Trump National Golf Club. That's even better. But we're going to have all brand new, beautiful grass. Like everything else, grass has a life. Do you know that? Grass has a life. We have a life and grass has a life. And the grass here died about 40 years ago.
The fuck? Like, what does this even mean, right? Generally speaking, in terms of, like, very bizarre moments and rants that he's had, it's been a lot more of just, like, what the fuck are you talking about, man? Like, he's getting fucking worse, man. It really, really is. Well, now we're gonna go on to this, I guess, rather infamous Fox and Friends interview that he fucking had, where he had some very interesting musings, rantings, and ravings. Oh yeah, 1000%, Boy Meets Minnie. He does want to build Versailles with that stupid ballroom that he's trying to put into the fucking White House, for God's sake. Like, it's purely just new Gilded Age fucking bullshit that he's trying to go for. But what do we got here?
President Trump making major progress toward peace and high-stakes talks with Ukrainian President Zelensky and European leaders in the Oval Office yesterday. Look at that picture.
President Trump also confirming a meeting between Russian President Putin.
Yeah, so far, by the way, real quick, the progress that's being made, and we're going to talk about a Russian strike specifically on a U.S. factory. So some fucking progress is being real made. Wonder why Putin is attacking an American factory after having his fucking talks with you, bro. It's almost as if he doesn't respect you, little bro, and he never did fucking respect you, and Putin was never interested in fucking peace. Crazy, I know. But, the idea that Trump capitulating to literally all of the Russians' framings on the issues, all because Putin decided to speak some sweet nothings in his ear, is going to make it such that the Russians are going to be interested in having some kind of rapport with you specifically is completely fucking not. It's completely ludicrous, dude.
And Zelensky is in the works before he hopefully meets them together.
And joining us now on the phone with more details, the President of the United States, the 45th and 47th President Donald J. Trump. Mr. President, thanks so much for joining Fox and Friends this morning.
Good morning. That's quite a crew.
Well, Mr. President, the whole world was watching yesterday as you got leaders from the European Union, NATO, as well, from all over the world. How did you get them to Washington, to the Oval Office, so fast?
Well, I think really they have respect for our country again. A year ago, they wouldn't have come. They wouldn't have even thought about it now. We've become the hottest country anywhere in the world. Everybody wants to be here. When I made the call, they came. And they said there's really never been anything.
Literally, if the president ever wanted to make a call for a meeting amongst world leaders, this isn't synonymous with just you, buddy. Like if Joe Biden wanted to have a fucking call, he could just do it. If Obama wanted to, he could just do it. Like, it's fucking goofy, dude.
like, you have one president or one prime minister, but there's never been, such a group. And these really represent the European nations, these people, and they're very good people, and they want to end the war, that horrible war with Ukraine and Russia. It's a horrible war.
It was such a sense of unity, and we all enjoyed watching it because America is on top, and it was on your turf, on your terms. I know yesterday you talked about arranging a meeting to take place in 2 weeks between Putin and Zelensky. Is there an update there, and do you plan to attend?
No, I thought I'd do first let them meet. They haven't been exactly best friends. They haven't gotten along very well. And I called President Putin yesterday, and I do have a good relationship. But it only matters if we get things done. Otherwise, I don't care about the relationship.
Really? Yeah, you fucking decide to capitulate immediately, and you still want to fucking call him good friends? Bro, he doesn't respect you, little bro. He doesn't respect you, little bro.
I do have a good relationship with him, but I want to get things done. I've solved 7 wars. We ended 7 wars. I thought this would be one of the easier ones, and this has turned out to be the toughest one. India, Pakistan. I mean, these were big ones, and also.
Yeah, India, Pakistan. I guess it's gone up from 6. Now it's 7 wars. Oh, fantastic. So what? Again, India, Pakistan. No evidence to say that the U.S. had anything to do with any of that shit. Like, literally, all he did was just say, like, we're not gonna trade with you anymore, and it's literally from the Pakistanis and the Indians, they have said, like, yeah, the U.S. basically had, like, nothing to do with it. Again, boy meets Minnie, you can probably attest to this better than I could, considering how much Southeast Asian politics you fucking consume. From what I understand, this was all just internal affairs, and Trump had fucking nothing to do with any of that shit. And if anything, the Chinese probably would have more to do with that shit in comparison to the fucking Americans. It's, complete utter fucking nonsense. Israel and Iran, you were the one who gave the Israelis the go-ahead in order to start bombing the Iranians. I will give him Congo and Rwanda. He actually was the one who brokered a ceasefire there. One. Apparently he thought there was one between Serbia and Kosovo. No evidence at all. Like, there's just been nothing. Everyone's just saying, like, what are you talking about? Nothing. Nonsense. I know Cambodia and Thailand were having some border tensions. They're having some tensions, but nothing really escalated. So, technically speaking, no. Like, I don't know if he helped to de-escalate the tensions between the two countries. And I have no fucking idea. I'm trying to think, what are the other ones? Israel and Hamas have gone nowhere. And what other fucking wars? That's like 5 of them. What are the other ones? Can't be anything with Syria. He had nothing to do with Syria. Yeah, I can't really think of anything else. I mean, it's complete fucking nonsense, right?
Big ones, and some going for 31, 32 years, one for 35 years. The Congo, think of that. The Congo and Rwanda for 35 years. I got that one done. I got them all done, but this one is the one that...
Huh? Congo and Rwanda have been at war for 35 years? The more recent fucking skirmishes that they were having in Congo and Rwanda was due to... I mean, the Rwandans were backing a rebel group, and that was not for 35 fucking years. That war was not going on for 35 years. It was going on for, I think, probably about a year and a half, something like that. 35? Okay, bro. Oh, also, I guess, does he think, is he trying to say, like, for one of the other wars that he apparently got a ceasefire for, did he get, like, a ceasefire for the Sudanese fucking civil war? I don't think so, between the RSF and the Sudan's government forces. I don't really think so. M23 first entered Congo in 2012. Were they backed by the Rwandans even back then, Boy Meets Minnie? Were they? To the extent that they were, like, more recently? Because I have no idea, right? Because initially they weren't they were like a small group, and then it fucking grew all of a sudden, from what I understand. Like, that's not 35 years. Let's say that this started. Let's say this started in 2012. That's still not 35 years. It's nonsense.
That is the most difficult, and I thought it would be an easy one. So I hope President Putin is going to be good, and if he's not, it's going to be a rough situation. And I hope that President Zelensky, will do what he has to do. He has to show some.
Again, he's putting all the onus on fucking Zelensky. Zelensky did nothing wrong. He didn't do. Why does it all have to be on fucking Zelensky? Because again, like, dude, he didn't do anything. He's the one who got fucking invaded, and the Russians are the ones who are uninterested in fucking negotiating. It's nonsense.
Some flexibility also. The thing is a mess. This was started by Joe Biden. This was a war that should have never happened. Millions of people are dead. The country's blown to pieces, Ukraine, and it's a shame. My wife Melania wrote that beautiful note to President Putin about children. The children are devastated. They're taken away from their homes. The whole thing. And this is a war that would have never, ever, ever happened if we had a president, a real president.
So, Mr. President.
Again, there's just no indication. This is like the stupid talking point that, of course, like, Putin is whispering into fucking Trump's ears in order to just fucking manipulate him because he's just, well, a fucking moron whose brain is leaking out of his ears.
It's been barely a week since you announced that first meeting in Alaska. It's just been days since that meeting, and then you had the meeting yesterday. In the course of having these negotiations, what has surprised you the most between Zelensky and Putin in terms of their strength or weakness of their position right now?
Well, I think the fact that maybe they're getting along a little bit better than I thought. Otherwise, I wouldn't have set up a 2 meeting. I would have set up a 3, a trilab. But I think they're doing a little bit better. There's been tremendous bad blood. And again, this was all worked out by an administration that didn't have a clue. And if you remember, they said, well, if you made a minor incursion, that would be okay. That was the end. The whole thing when Biden made that statement. But minor incursion, what does that mean? So I think they're doing okay. I wouldn't say they are ever going to be best friends, but they're doing okay. And we're just going to see. So we're setting up a meeting. I sort of set it up with Putin and Zelensky, and they're the ones that have to call the shots. We're 7,000 miles away. In all fairness, we've spent through the previous administration $350 billion. Europe has spent a lot, also $100 billion, but it should be reversed. If we should have been in for anything, but it wouldn't have happened. So that was.
You're the one with the bigger fucking economy that has more fucking military equipment. Why does the European, again, I've said this before, why do the Europeans have to be the ones that spend more? It doesn't make any fucking sense. Your economy is significantly bigger, and if anything, you're saving fucking money. Again, a lot of the equipment that gets sent over to the Ukrainians is old equipment that's about to be decommissioned. It would be more expensive to decommission it. Why not just send it over to the fucking Ukrainians? They can just use it instead. That's, like, broadly speaking, do people understand just how fucking stupid this shit is? Like, also, first off, the $350 billion, the highest that I remember that it got to was not even close to $300 billion. It may have gone to like $220 billion that has been spent on military packages to the Ukrainians. And for the most part, what the Europeans mostly did, it was just like spend money on buying different sort of, what do you mean? Ukrainian assets so they can do their own domestic manufacturing. And yeah, like, how much money has been given to Israel? Like, probably more than that. So, like, I don't know. Like, cope and fucking seethe about it. It's so fucking stupid. Oh, 1000% there, Alex. Yeah. Like, all the shit, especially with the new forms of drone warfare, invaluable fucking data for the U.S. military. It's been very, very good for them. Like, they've only fucking benefited from this. Like, because, again, the money that was being spent on American manufacturing goods, right? Like, in terms of the money that they were giving to the Ukrainians, it is a fraction in comparison to money that was given to military corporations. American military fucking corporations. Which means this is actually a benefit to their economy because, again, they can employ more people in order to get more fucking jobs to produce more fucking weapons. This made money, but again, this is a guy who barely understands how the economy fucking works.
Would have been much better because so many people died. This is the biggest bad situation since World War II. There's been nothing even close.
So, Mr. President, I know you've been doing deals your entire life when it comes to real estate deals, but this was something a little different. The thing that is surprising a lot of people is when it comes to the security guarantees. I know President Putin said no NATO, and you said, you know what, we're just going to take it off the table. But you did get President Putin to agree to NATO-like protection.
See, that's a very actually revealing statement. Again, when I talked about Trump immediately fucking capitulated to Putin, saying no NATO immediately. It's just like art of the deal, I guess. Like, why are you immediately fucking doing like a capitulation when in negotiations? It doesn't make any fucking sense. No, you negotiate from a position of strength first, not from a position of weakness, you moron. Yeah, he's such a good businessman, but he can't do fucking cost-benefit analysis. It's complete fucking nonsense, dude.
Protections. So tell us about that. What does that entail?
Yeah, and also NATO-like protections. Again, from the initial mineral deal stuff, which I don't even know where the fuck that's at this point. Probably, like, going nowhere. He thinks that the Russians are going to not attack American fucking assets within Ukraine for some reason, because American workers are going to be there. Putin's going to fucking probably call that bluff and be like, I'm going to fucking attack that. Again, we're going to get to this eventually, but Russia strikes targets in Western Ukraine, hits factory of NASDAQ-listed company. So, hey, Trump, are you really sure that if you put in a bunch of American workers and fucking factories in mines, that you're going to guarantee, like, that's going to be a form of, like, security guarantee for the Ukrainians? Yeah, I don't fucking think so, right? I don't think the Russians are going to give a fuck about any of that stuff. Because I think even he himself has said that he might have to deploy boots on the fucking ground. And if he does that, that's going to be a wrap for him more of a fucking wrap for him politically, because it's going to be extremely fucking unpopular amongst his fucking base. So, again, like I said before, the only reason why we're even in this position to fucking begin with is because of just Trump inherently showing an incredible amount of fucking weakness. Oh yeah, exactly, Boy Meets Mini. With the destroyers that are being deployed off of the coast of fucking Venezuela, you guys might be fucking invading Venezuela, for fuck's sake, with their 4.5 million fucking militia. Good fucking luck trying to invade a country with that many fucking militia members. People who know how to fucking use guns. Like, they may not be well trained or whatever, but 4.5 million people, that's a lot of fucking people. Good luck with that, especially since they are incredibly fucking hostile to you. So, again, like, the only reason why this shit is fucking happening to begin with is because Trump himself doesn't know how the economy works, doesn't know how to negotiate, and is an incredibly weak-willed individual.
Well, the war really started over NATO and Crimea. And they wanted Crimea back. That was given, not a shot fired by President Obama in perhaps the worst real estate deal I've ever seen. There's been a couple of them. I would say the Gaza Strip was a pretty bad one, too. Given by Israel so they'd have peace. So they gave away a big percentage of their oceanfront property in order to have peace. How did that work out? Not so good. And
what the fuck is he even... What is he talking about? What? Giving away part of the Gaza Strip? Also, real estate deal with... Dude, like, the Russians just marched in with, literal fucking army units into Crimea. And then they just marched in there. They were given Sevastopol as a part of the Minsk agreements, right? Like, what are you fucking talking about? This is so fucking stupid, dude. What's fucking stupid is that Zelensky agreed to the mineral deal, which probably he shouldn't have, but Trump is so fucking stupid he couldn't hold up his end of putting pressure on Putin. Oh, 1000% there, Alex. Like, again, when I say that this guy is an incredibly weak-willed fucking moron, dipshit individual, this is what I mean. He is just like stumbling about like a buffoon, seemingly like wholeheartedly incapable of being able to just like even assess the fucking situation in front of him, because again, he's just a moron. He doesn't understand how to do any of this stuff. It's nonsense.
Crimea is the apple of Ukraine. I mean, it's so beautiful. And Obama gave it away. Nobody ever mentions that. If I ever did that, the fake news they would be writing about me day and night for years. He gave it away.
What do you mean he fucking gave it away? Like, does he mean that, like, Obama didn't follow up with, like, a sanctions package or do anything? He sanctioned Russia after that. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? He gave it away. The Russians just went in there while the Ukrainians were busy fighting the fucking separatists in the Donbass, which, let's not fucking forget, the fucking Ukrainian separatists were getting constant arms from the fucking Russians. So it's so fucking stupid. The Kerch Strait incident happened later, Boy Meets Mini. That was a later thing, right? That was 2018 that the Kerch Strait incident happened under Trump. And also, like, again, since he's a fucking egotistical, like, narcissist, he's just a sociopathic narcissist. But the thing is like, if you wanted this to stop, you could have negotiated with the Russians during your first term, during your administration, but you never did that. You didn't negotiate with them at all. You didn't go to the table with the fucking separatists or anything. You did none of that. You just gave arms to the fucking Ukrainians. If anything, you had a part to play in the sort of escalation rhetoric, if we're trying to, like, I don't know, go along with the framing here. Like, you had a part to play in that, buddy.
He demanded that they let it go, and Russia came in and took it, just took it like candy from a baby. That was really Obama's, that was pure and simple Obama's fault. What a terrible thing he did to that country. And so they lost their heart. They lost the heart and soul of the Ukraine 14 years ago, whatever it might be. And it was so unnecessary.
I don't think then why are they still fighting on the battlefield if they've lost their heart and soul? This is fucking nonsense, dude.
And that's when it really began, when Obama gave it away. And then you had a lot of other events, but you have tremendous hostility. The people of Ukraine were mortified when that took place. That really began a lot of hatred when they gave it. And they didn't have to. Not a shot was fired. They just took over the most valuable piece, and the biggest piece in a sense of, and surrounded on four sides by ocean. Just a little passage to get you back onto the mainland. The most beautiful piece of property you've ever seen. As a real estate developer, I look at it. I said, why the heck did he do that to them? And so there's great hostility, and maybe rightfully so. But one thing was NATO. They went in and they said, we want to get Crimea back. This was at the beginning. Now Putin offered it to him. He made a good deal. He got it from.
Well, because again, based off of the 1991 referendum, the only fucking oblast that did not vote in a supermajority to stay with the country of Ukraine when the country was being formed after the collapse of the Soviet Union was the Crimea Oblast. with about 51% of the fucking vote when the referendum was taking place during 1991. It's still a majority. They still opted to stay with the fucking Ukrainians. But again, that doesn't change the fact that the Russians illegally invaded and annexed, well, Crimea at that point. That's still not incorrect to say that a lot of European countries said, like, give it fucking back, dude. Like, that's Ukrainian territory. That's Ukrainian sovereign territory. You can't just fucking invade that shit and just take it. Like, complete nonsense, dude.
Obama. But they said we want it back, and that was not exactly well received because it was like 12 years before. That's where Russia has its submarine base, and it's been there long before Putin. They've been there for a long time. But long before Putin, and the other thing they said is we want to be a member of NATO. Well, both of those things are impossible because again, long before Putin, it was a no-no by Russia or the Soviet Union or anything you want to call it. It's sort of a similar thing as it gets larger, but very similar. But it was.
Well, no, it's initially a no-no by NATO because NATO has particular prerequisites for countries to join into NATO. First off, they want you to crack down significantly on corruption. And, well, they didn't fucking do that yet, so they were not getting any acceptance into NATO. And also, there's typically a referendum that has to be held for countries to join NATO. That referendum did not happen in Ukraine yet. If it were to happen today, more than likely, that shit would fucking pass, like, overwhelmingly so. So then, they could get some fucking help in dealing with the fucking Russians. Like, it's nonsense. Like, they didn't hold the referendum because they knew that it was non-starter. They were not going to get in anyways, even if they were to do the fucking referendum, because of how corrupt the country was.
No, you could not. Russia said we don't want the so-called opponent or the enemy, let's use that term. We don't want them on our border. And they were right. They were okay. And yet they went in and they asked, with the United States, they said...
The Baltic states have been on the border of the Russians for the past 20 years. Now Finland. The border has essentially doubled. Interesting.
Put us into NATO, and everybody knew you just can't do that. They would never have agreed to it. This is before Putin. This is long before Putin. It was just a no-no. It was something that was never going to happen. So they asked for it, and they shouldn't have asked for it because it was, very insulting. Now they could have asked for many other things. But the other thing they wanted to do is getting Crimea.
Part of the deal, by the way, he doesn't understand that you're supposed to negotiate from a position of strength first, and then compromise. That's how negotiating works. For a guy who pretends to be like such a great fucking deal maker, he doesn't even know the basic tenets of this shit. It's nonsense.
And that was given. They had built. They were expanding everything and spending a lot of money, all because Barack Hussein Obama gave it away in one of the dumbest real estate deals I've ever seen.
But Mr. President, but you got the Article 5 protections, though.
Stupid.
So they're not going to be a part of NATO, but you still got
that's why
protections.
so they're not going to be a part of NATO, but we've got the European nations, and they'll front load it, and they'll have some of them, France and Germany, a couple of them, UK. They want to have boots on the
By the way, that still doesn't make any sense. They're going to have Article 5 protections, but they're not going to be a part of NATO. So that means they don't have Article 5 protections. Why are we doing this like weird stipulation or some fucking nonsense? Like, are European peacekeepers, like European troops, going to be on the ground in Ukraine, right? Like, on the fucking border with the Russians, right? Like, that would fucking do it, right? In terms of Article 5 protections, like NATO-like protections, like, it's nonsense. Like, this is how you know. Complete farce, just completely giving in to Putin for no reason.
The ground. I don't think it's going to be a problem, to be honest with you. I think Putin is tired of it. I think they're all tired of it. But you never know. We're going to find out about President
Sure,
Putin
man, totally.
I can tell you, and we're going to see where it all goes. It's possible that he doesn't want to make a deal. I always said, you interviewed me, Lawrence, and I think Charlie also. Lawrence, I hate to tell you, Charlie was about the first person in the world to endorse me. He endorsed me about a year before I ran, and that's why he called me this morning. Sir, would you do it?
I'm going to talk about the election now because I'm a dumbass.
And then only to be told that I'm not doing it. But Charlie endorsed me about a year before, I think, and he puts it up on his site. It's still, I checked it. It's still on his site. I endorsed President Trump before he even ran. So I always like a guy like that. I must tell you. Now, Lawrence is going to be a superstar, but he was a little later to the game.
Well, it's a lot more crowded these days than it was back then. But Mr. President, what kind of assurances do you feel like you have that going forward and past this Trump administration, it won't be American boots on the ground defending that border?
Well, yeah, my assurance, I'm president, and I'm just trying to stop people from being killed, Charlie. Look, they're losing from 5,000 to 7,000 people a week in that ridiculous war that should have never happened. If we had a normal president, not even a great president, if we had a normal president, it wouldn't have happened. But we had a guy that didn't have a clue. And they're losing, think of it, 5,000 to 7,000 a week. So even these guys say, okay, let's meet next week. I think you can't meet next week. Next week, you're going to have 7,000 more dead people. You can't do that. You got to get this thing done.
Still, again, there's no evidence to suggest, like, in terms of the estimates, because we don't really know exactly how many people are dying a week on both sides. It's not 7,000. All of the experts have said that it's maybe 2,000 a week that are well, not even just dying, but as casualties. It's just what do you mean? Like, again, he has to fucking over exaggerate and try to overplay because to make it sound way fucking worse. And not that I'm trying to downplay 2,000 people getting killed or becoming casualties in the fucking war. that he doesn't want to accept any responsibility for because he's a fucking narcissist, then the thing is that, like, it's not fucking 5 to 7,000. It's complete utter fucking nonsense. It's probably about 2,000 from what I've heard from most of the fucking experts that have looked into this. 5 to 7,000. He has to fucking over embellish it because, again, he has to make it sound way worse than it is to, well, cover for the fact that he's been a complete fucking moron in terms of dealing with this issue.
The things at the table was one of the gentlemen who's a great guy, but he said, I hope I didn't insult him. He said, well, let's meet in another month or two, and let's see if we can start, making some. I said, a month or two? You can have another 40,000 people dead in a month or two. You have to do it tonight. And I did, actually. I called President Putin, and we're trying to work out a meeting with President Zelensky. We'll see what happens there. And then if it works out, then I'll go to the trilat and close it up.
Oh, that'd be good. Mr. President, did y'all discuss any land swaps yesterday? Because we've talked a lot about the Donbass region. And what was the feeling in the room? What did the other leaders say about this?
Well, they understand. Look, everybody can play cute and this and that, but, Ukraine's going to get their life back. They're going to stop having people killed all over the place, and they're going to get a lot of land. But this was a war, and Russia is a powerful military nation, whether people like it or not. It's a powerful nation. It's a much bigger nation. It's not a war that should have been started. You don't do that. You don't take on a nation that's 10 times your size. And military experts look. If it wasn't for the great.
Wait, is he saying that the Ukrainians were the ones who coded? Again, like, no, they fucking didn't. The Russians invaded them. They never goaded the Russians into a fight. That he still thinks that Zelensky is the main person who picked the fight. First off, the Russians did the initial invasion and giving equipment to the Ukrainian separatists in 2014, right? So Zelensky was not in power then, Trump. He came into power in 2019, okay? I understand numbers might be a little difficult for you to understand, right? Given how old you are, but I'll help you, Grandpa. I'll help you along. But no, that's not what fucking happened. The Russians eventually ended up justifying the invasion, saying that, well, we're going to do an invasion of our little fucking brother because we want to reclaim the blood in the soil of our little brother because they're our little brother. Which, given in the minds of every fucking Ukrainian, especially with a lot of the history that's gone on in the area, very incredibly patronizing. They're probably not really big fans of that particular rhetoric because, like, yeah, I wonder why they're calling us our little brother. It's not out of respect. That's not the reasoning why. It's because they think of them as, like, their pawns, their puppets to fucking subjugate. That's the point. But the idea that, like, again, it's just going to be like, oh, I'm going to be the one who works out a fucking deal. We're going to work it out. And if nothing happens, then nothing happens. Again, he's being fucking strung along here because Putin is, again, like I've said before, he's not interested in the conflict because he thinks he can just outlast the Ukrainians and the West. That's why. And especially with this moron that he's manipulating in office, he might be fucking able to.
This military equipment. We make the greatest military equipment in the world. And we gave them, whatever. They took probably a lot of money, too. But they had tremendous, they had the Patriot missile, which is the best in the world. All the equipment, we make the best equipment in the world by far. Everyone else is like, nothing. So we gave them a lot of equipment. Now, with that said, the Ukrainian soldiers were brave as hell. Because they're fighting a force that's much, much bigger. And in theory, much more powerful. And, it's not like they've stopped. I assume you've all seen the map. A big chunk of territory is taken. And that territory has been taken.
I wonder if fucking Trump has an understanding at all of when the Ukrainians were being highly successful with their counteroffensives, retaking a lot of territory, just how many fucking Russians went down, like how much equipment of the Russians went down, yet, they're the ones who are, picking a fight and becoming, like, way more fucking ineffective. Again, you have to always speak out of both sides of your mouth when you're doing propaganda like this.
Talking about Donbass, but Donbass, right now, as you know, is 79% owned and controlled by Russia. So they understand what that means.
Mr. President, what did the other leaders tell you? Because it seemed to be...
So you can tell the Russians to get the fuck out. That's still Ukrainian territory. That doesn't give the Russians the justification to fucking annex that shit. Again, he's doing constant fucking capitulations to Putin immediately because he's not actually he could care less about actually getting a fucking peace deal done. He doesn't give a fuck about the Ukrainians.
Like the first Trump term, there was great unity that was there, and we saw the public comments. But when you got them in the Oval Office, and we have this photo of you sitting at the Resolute desk, and all of these world leaders are sitting in front of you. What did they say to you privately? Because it looked like they're on the same page as you, sir.
Yeah, they are. They're very good people. They're very good leaders of their countries, and they want to get back to leading their country. They're consumed far more with this than we are because they're right there. We have an ocean that's separating us, right? Thing called an ocean, a big, beautiful ocean, and they don't. They're right there. So they have to that's a different kind of a thing for them. When it comes to security, they're willing to put people on the ground. We're willing to help them with things, especially probably if you talk about by air, because nobody has the kind of stuff we have. Really, they don't have. But I don't think it's going to be a problem. I think if a deal is made, famous last words, right? But I think if a deal is made, I think Russia's had it. They've all had it, and for a very extended period of time, I don't think there'll be a problem. But there'll be some form of security. It can't be NATO because that's just not something that would ever happen. They couldn't do that. So
again, European peacekeepers on the fucking ground. It can't be fucking NATO, but it will be basically a bunch of NATO troops that are going to be on the ground, because those are more than likely the people that are going to be on the ground in that area to make sure that the Russians don't invade again. Again, he's capitulating up front to Putin, which is why everyone who talks about this, especially military analysts, say that the talks were as disastrous as they were, because he just capitulated up front to the Russians. That's the big issue.
I mean, if you were Russia, who would want to have your enemy, your opponent, sitting on your line? You don't do that. So it was always thought that Ukraine was sort of a buffer between Russia and the rest of Europe. And it was.
Again, I'm going to say, the fucking Baltic states are right there, man. There's been a border between NATO countries and the Russians for the past 20 fucking years, dude. 20 years!
The big wide buffer, everything worked out well until Biden got involved. When Biden gave them $100 billion right up front, I don't give them anything. I don't know if you know it, but since I've been there, we don't pay. First of all, I made a deal to take rare earth. That's the equivalent of much more than the $350 billion that Biden got away. Because
that shit, by the way, still has not really gone anywhere. It's nonsense. And he's, like I said before, he's trying to use them as the main way to stave off Russian attacks. But again, the Russians just did an attack on a U.S.-owned fucking factory that has, I don't know if they have U.S. workers there, but it's a U.S.-owned fucking factory. It's almost as if, again, the Russians, they don't fucking give a fuck. Or they're trying to call your fucking bluff. It's one of the two. Which, he's not going to fucking do anything about it. He doesn't give a shit about any of that stuff. Because in reality, he's just a stooge for the Russians.
I felt so foolish. It was so stupid what he did. And I was able to make a deal with Ukraine, and they were very nice. They have great rare earth, among the best in the world. And we took much more than the $350 billion, and they were great about it. So we got that handled. But now we don't pay.
We're going to shake you down.
They buy through NATO, because I got NATO to go from 2% to 5%. 2% when they didn't pay, 2% of GDP, 2% when they didn't pay, and 5% now they do pay. So it's trillions of dollars. So what we do is we make the equipment, the military equipment, and sell it at a full price. We sell it to the NATO. We sell it to NATO, and NATO pays us immediately, and that's the way it's working. And then NATO takes it and does what they want with it, because they really have the right to do what they want with it. But for the most part, they give it to Ukraine. So we're not losing. We're not like we were with Biden, where we're paying hundreds of billions of dollars out. We're paying nothing.
It's so fucking stupid. Just dog. Why go through a fucking third-party mediator? It just make things more fucking inefficient when you can just give it directly to the fucking Ukrainians. Again, supposed art of the deal enthusiast over here, Donald Trump, who barely seems to understand how to make a fucking goddamn deal. That makes any fucking sense. Even these guys are just saying oh, what the fuck is going on with this man? He's just fucking rambling like a fucking dumbass.
Trump, during the meeting yesterday, when you decided to call Vladimir Putin, what was the reaction among the other people in the room, and what was President Putin's reaction to being brought into a phone call in the middle of your meeting?
Well, I think they expected. I didn't do it in front of them. I thought that would be disrespectful to President Putin. I wouldn't do that, because they have not had the warmest relations. And
I care more about Putin than anyone else.
People from Europe. I mean, that was part of the problem. They had no communication. They had no communication with the White House for years. As people died, years with Biden and his people. No
I don't think they love the rambling Boy Meets Minnie. I mean, look at their fucking faces, man. They're just what the fuck is going on here, bro? What is he fucking saying? I don't think they're big fans, because again, this is a propaganda outlet that's having the main mouthpiece of the Republican Party, of the guy that they're supposed to do propaganda for, and they've been struggling and defending stuff for the one big beautiful bill, because it's just it's indefensible basically, and they've been having problems even trying to do any of that shit, because there's just no fucking argument. And even then, they're saying oh, we're gonna have to fucking go overtime. But then again, the audience they mostly pander to are just I don't know, completely just out of touch fucking morons who are incapable of barely fucking breathing half the time. They have to be reminded to fucking breathe more often than not. So to really say that it's just oh yeah, dude, we're doing we're totally doing everything we're supposed to do here in order to get a deal done. It's just dog, no the fuck you're not. None of this shit's going fucking anywhere. It's just fucking stupid.
Communication. Putin told me it was years that he didn't speak to anybody from the White House, and it was a long time that he didn't speak to anybody from Europe. No, it's a fractured relationship. And when I came in, I always had, despite the Russia hoax, which truly was a very dangerous thing for our country.
Russia.
I maintained a very good relationship. I mean, you saw that when he got off his plane, I got off my plane. There's a warmth there that you can't. There's a decent feeling. That's a good thing, not a bad thing. People say, oh, that's such a terrible thing. It's not a terrible thing. You know what?
Oh, we love each other. We're gonna have gay sex.
He got second.
So can you describe for us how that happened? Did you just announce that you were going to go into the other room to make the phone call, and then you got up and left, and then came back?
I think they sort of knew. I was at the end of the meeting. I was going to call President Putin, and President Putin expected it, and he was there. Now, by the time I called told him it was 1 o'clock in the morning in Russia. Russia's a big place. You know, they have 11 time zones, I believe. 9 or 11, but I think it's 11.
But
I think
Mr.
it was
President,
11 time zones. That's a lot of time zones. So it was late. It was like 1 o'clock in the morning, but he picked it up very happily. Sure, he works very hard, like we all do. And we had a very good call. And I told him that we're going to set up a meeting with President Zelensky, and you and he will meet. And then after that meeting, if everything works out, okay, I'll meet and we'll wrap it up. But you know, it takes in this case 2 to tango. They have to have somewhat of a relationship. Otherwise, we're just wasting a lot of time. I don't want to be doing that for. I just want to end it. I want to end it. You know, we're not losing American lives. We're not losing American soldiers. We're losing Russian and Ukrainian, mostly soldiers. Some people as missiles hit wrong spots or get lobbed into cities like Kiev and towns. But you know, if I can save 7,000 people a week from being killed, I think I want to try and get to heaven if possible. I'm hearing I'm not doing well. I hear I'm really at the bottom of the totem pole. But if I can get to heaven.
Well, there's the fucking moment with the real fucking weird crash out shit. I want to get to heaven. I want to get this done. It's just like, dog, what the fuck are you talking about? Okay, first off, like you're already going to fucking hell. You've cheated on your wives multiple fucking wives. So in terms of wanting to go to fucking heaven, yeah, like that's already not fucking happening. Okay. Is Trump having like a weird come to Jesus moment because of the surviving of the assassination fucking attempt that he had, right? Is this why? Because he's been doing this more and more often where he's just like, I believe by the grace of God, that's why I fucking live, folks. Let me tell you, I did it because God was the one who fucking saved me. It's like, dog, like what the fuck do you mean? There's no fucking way that is the main reason for as to why. You just got fucking lucky, my dude. Like that's what fucking happened. Sometimes lucky, bubber ducky. And now he's like eating up all the dumbass like conserva slop like propaganda and shit. And that's why he thinks he's like a born again as a fucking Christian. And that's why he was like saved from the bullet. It's like no. It's because the guy fucking just missed a shot. It's nonsense.
And this will be one of the reasons. Well, I think I saved a lot of lives with India. Pakistan, they were going at it. The planes were being shot down. That was going to be maybe a nuclear war if I let that go. And I did that through trade. I was negotiating with both of them. I said, I'm not going to make a trade deal with you guys. You fight until you get peace. And I got him on the phone. I made a peace deal. And many.
I mean, look at this fucking dude on the left here. He's just like his mouth was agape there, dude. Like, listen, it's cringe to do like the whole body language reading shit because it's all pseudo-scientific nonsense. But these guys, you know what they're fucking thinking? It's like, oh, fuck, bro. How the fuck are we going to fucking spin this shit? Because, again, this is incoherent babble. This is nonsense, right? Like, getting into fucking heaven shit. It's like, well, I'm just scared that I'm not going to get into heaven. I'm probably going to go to hell. I'm probably very low in the totem pole there. It's just like, dog, like, you are going to go to hell, like, in a fucking handbasket. You're a rich, out-of-touch asshole. Like, you're guaranteed a spot in fucking hell, right? If we believe the teachings of the Bible, for fuck's sake. Like, wallahi, you are already fucking cooked, my dude. Like, yeah, your ass is in the 9th circle. It's already over for you. Before all the pedophilia and cheating, like, your dumbass is not getting into fucking heaven, my dude. Like, it's over for you. Do you think that getting a peace deal done in Ukraine is going to be the main thing that's going to get you into heaven? Nonsense. It's just nonsense.
No, 6. It's actually 7. And then we took out the nuclear capability from Iran. That was a big one in those pilots of those planes. When people say, you know, we had the B-2 fly right over.
Quick reminder, it only set them back a couple months. It did accomplish nothing.
President Putin, as he left his plane, he looked up, he said, what the hell is that? That's a hell of a noise. So he didn't make it environmentally friendly, okay?
So did the First Lady let you read the letter that Mrs. Zelensky wrote to her?
I purposely didn't. I did not do it purposely.
I like how they're trying to angle the camera away from the faces of the fucking anchors because they probably know that they're just like looking at this like, bro, what? Again, bro, guy on the fucking left here. Look, this man's face just like, what? And it's been staying like this for like the past 5 minutes at this point. It's insane.
Fine, but she gave a letter to Melania, and Melania told me it was absolutely a beautiful letter, so I'm going to see it. She's sending me a copy, but I gave it to her yesterday sealed. It's nice when you give something sealed. I don't like when things are up. I don't like it. So anyway, but it was a beautiful letter, I'm sure.
Mr. President, there was a lot of talk yesterday when we were watching this about what happens after your presidency. How can we ensure that this conflict, that Putin doesn't inch in closer or more into the Ukraine territory? Is there anything that we can do? Can our congressmen and women pass any laws that would involve Article 5? How would that be handled?
All you can do is make sure you get a good president, not one of these wackos like in California that runs the worst state anybody's seen. Or that guy in Illinois who his family threw him out of the business because he was no good. Now he's running Illinois. He wants to run for president. He's got 0 chance.
JB Pritzker is the heir to the fucking fortune to the hotel chain. So no, it's nonsense.
Maybe Newsom has a little bit of a chance. I don't know. It's hard to believe because his record's bad. But all you can do is hope you don't get that as president. We have a great bench, as you know that. We have great talent. And JD and Marco and Scott Besson's been great, and Howard.
Yeah, you're saying that JD Vance is going to be the new guy. Literally, you already said on a fucking separate interview that you don't think JD Vance is the guy, already undercutting his position. It was just really funny.
They're all, I mean, we have such superstars. Remember this. Take a look at the border. The border was a disaster. Millions of people were pouring through, open border. Within 2 months, it was perfect. And within now, every week, every month, they say zero people coming in illegal. We were taking people from prisons all over the world, gang members, insane asylum, mental patients from the worst insane asylums in the world that dropped into our.
Still doesn't understand what getting asylum means.
Mr. President, it's clear that you have operational control of the border. I mean, when the numbers hit zero, that is clear for the whole world to see. I'm curious.
3 months in a row.
Right, without new laws even having to be passed. But Mr. President,
now I'm doing something that I'm having such fun with because I'm helping people. I've made Washington D.C. Just an incredible place in literally 4 days. I have friends that say they're going out to dinner. Did you see what's happening with the restaurants? They're bursting. They're all closing and going bankrupt. I mean, it would be great.
Yeah, I bet the restaurant business in DC is doing really well because of the fucking random Gestapo fascist police that are just walking around going like, all right, we gotta make sure there's no minorities or homeless people here. Up. All right, minority detected. Start beating him with the fucking stick. Bah! We're gonna beat you with the fucking stick because you're black. Or homeless. Or black and homeless. Even better. We're gonna keep beating the fuck out of you with the stick. And just like randomly fucking arresting people. Because it's gonna be a really good way of dealing with the goddamn homeless problem and racial tensions within Washington D.C. It's complete fucking nonsense, right? Like, we all know just how stupid the fucking occupation of DC is. Like, it's just a fucking police state because, again, 30-year crime low. 30-year fucking crime low. It's just complete fucking nonsense, dude.
A guy named Sean Hannity, he might take a very lovely young lady that he knows very, very well to dinner in Washington, and they don't have to, she's sitting right next to you, by the way.
Right.
I don't want to get him in trouble, so I better explain exactly. We don't want any secrets here. But
What? Well, this is what I mean, like, what the fuck is he talking about? Like, what? I think her name is Ainsley Earhart. Haven't they been married already? And that's like already known? What the fuck are you saying, man? Like, why are you saying this? What? Oh, 1000%. Yeah, it is worse in fucking LA in comparison to DC because again, like LA is a suburbanite fucking urban sprawl hellhole. But like again, like what the fuck are you talking about? This is what I mean. Old man, brain leaking out of ears, hardly seemingly knows what he's talking about, and look, you know, you guys are having a great relationship, right? You know, it's going great for you, right? Ainsley and Sean, you know, you guys are doing great with one another. It's just like, dog, what are you fucking talking about, bro? Like, what is this?
That's the greatest relationship. I hope I'm not breaking it in. This could be the biggest. Hey, this could be the most important thing I said. But let me tell you, those are two great, Ainsley and Sean, great people. And when they go out to dinner, I don't want to see them get mugged. Now they can go out, they can hold hands, they can walk down the street. They're both superstars. I want to know who makes more money. He's got to be making a lot.
Mr. President, we're so happy for them. But on a serious note, Mr. President, when you have those world leaders, because this is the topic of conversation for the whole world, when you have them sitting in front of you, did they express concerns about the next president that they're not going to get the same type of treatment, security guarantees? Part of the deterrent of future attacks is your peace through strength. So did they say to you, Mr. President, we're concerned about the next leader?
They did. We talked about it. You know,
dude, he's
nuts.
He's going crazy.
I said, supposing you get a terrible leader in UK or France, or you know, we had Ursula there who runs the whole gamut. You know, we just made the biggest trade deal in the world. She's in charge of the Commission, the European Commission, and she's the boss. She was there too. I mean, that was really an incredible array of people. But you know, they say that actually maybe even more with regard to the economy. We have $17 trillion being invested in the United States and committed, and numbers that nobody's ever seen for AI plants and for this and for that, and we're taking in trillions and trillions of dollars. That's why we're doing so well. Plants are being built all over the country. Our country has gone from a dead country 1 year ago. We're the hottest country in the world.
From what I understand, like a bunch of community members are already pushing back, like local communities are pushing back, and a bunch of AI plants are not being raised in reality, and trillions of dollars. Again, as has been said before, no fucking evidence that this is the case. Again, old man rambling.
And every one of those people said it yesterday. They said, in 6 months, you made this the hottest country in the world that we are. We have $17 trillion coming in. And they said, well, what happens if you're no longer president and somebody comes in and cancels the tariffs? And we've invested hundreds of billions of dollars in building these plants, and now you have some anti-business person come in. I said, well, life is full of nasty little surprises, but I don't think it's going to happen. We have a great bench, and the bench is really talented. You see a lot of the people, and I think you're going to get great.
Literally, AI people are already saying that the AI bubble is about to burst. Like, I'm so ready for the inevitable collapse of the fucking economy that this guy is gonna fucking steward. It's gonna be great. I'm so looking forward to the economy fucking collapsing. Oh boy, it's gonna be great to deal with depression too. Yeah, Meta is already regretting it. Yeah, like again, this shit's not gonna, like, it's a bubble, dude. It's going to burst.
People in government.
Well, President Trump, we want to thank you so much for joining us this morning. We know that you have lots of other wars around the world that you need to end, and
yeah, sure, dude, totally. Complete fucking nonsense. I mean, as expected from bro whose brain is fucking leaking out of his ears. Like, what is he fucking talking about? Bro, you're already not guaranteed to go to heaven because you're an adulterer, you're incredibly idolic, and also, well, you're a rich asshole who fucking hates the poor. So your dumbass is going to fucking hell. Broadly speaking, I hope it's being understood what's going on here. Like, his brain is leaking more and more out of his ears than usual. He's like having problems getting coherent thoughts and sort of like positions together. He doesn't know what he's fucking talking about. He lies consistently and constantly, and it's just like, again, we've talked about the whole problems with the Ukrainian sort of like peace summit that he had with Putin. He just, decided to fucking like capitulate entirely to fucking Vladimir Putin. Like, he just capitulated instantaneously. All because, like, Vladimir Putin just whispered some sweet nothings in his ears. He is a compromised fucking candidate. Not only because, well, he's sympathetic more to the Russians, but also because of the fact that he's just incredibly fucking old and it's just dementia fucking brain stuff. And yeah, exactly. Like you said, boy meets mini. Bro saw a tent. He decides to lock down DC as a result. He cites that there's a bunch of crime going on in DC. Again, there's a current 30-year low in fucking crime rate in DC. It's nonsense. And he immediately, along with the police union fucking head of DC, decided to call into question and investigate the people that are putting out the fucking statistics in the Metropolitan Police Department for DC. So, like, again, this is a guy who is dementia-riddled, incredibly easy to manipulate, and whose brain is constantly leaking out of his ears because he's already a complete, utter buffoon who barely understands about any of the fucking topics that he engages with. So you want to expect me to believe that he's going to be able to, like, broker any of these complex peace deals or anything, like, properly? Yeah, fucking right. Like, given just stuff alone with fucking Putin, he's not going to be able, he hasn't been able to be successful in, like, any of his fucking endeavors. And everything that he is being successful in is incredibly fucking unpopular with the American people, and he's going to suffer politically for it. I don't think there's really much else to say besides his fucking brain is just completely and utterly fucking cooked.